So what should be the minimum amount of equipment that you should put in a bug out bag to be safe? Well, it depends on whether or not it's a training operation or an emergency operation. We're going to discuss what you should be bringing to both different types of events and why. So in training versus an actual emergency, safety is important in both situations. Your point behind training is to learn how to stay safe in an emergency situation. You don't want to injure yourself in such a way during training that you cannot survive your emergency situation, or you ruin your life that you're trying to preserve by being prepared to handle that emergency. You don't want that emergency to take you out of action. You don't want your training to take you out of action. You're training for that emergency to take you out of action. So safety is important in both situations. Training to lose, operate to win. When I'm setting up the bug out bag for training, I want it to kick my butt. I want it to be heavy, difficult to use, the rusty, big, bulky tools. I'm not going to carry a nice, clean, well-maintained multi-tool. I'm going to carry a bag full of big, heavy, okay, maybe not really rusty, but certainly not the easiest to use tools for my job, because it's training. It should be difficult, so that way when it comes time for me to operate and I bring the well-maintained tools, the good stuff along, I know I can win. So I'm training in such a situation that's going to be really tough to work with. I'm trying to put myself in that position so that way when it comes time for me to do what I need to do, I've actually got what I need. I know that I can do it because I did it so many times when it was so much harder. It's now easier. Skills are important. The skills that you're going to gain, they can even replace gear. So in your training bag, there are additional things that I wouldn't necessarily really put in with the operational bag. These are special to the training bag. It'd be your normal kit. That would be your training tools, whatever you're learning to use. If you're going on out and trying to do, say, a 5-tool challenge, you can only bring 5 tools to try and survive 72 hours, for example. Those 5 tools that count will be in that normal kit. Those you're going to open right away when you're out there and you're going to use them. Now your operational kit will come along. Those are items that do not count towards that challenge, but you're going to bring them whether or not you'd be able to bring them for a regular bug out. You're going to bring them out for this. These are things like water treatment and food safety, things to be able to take care of yourself, your health, the environment. These are things here that you're going to use even though it's not a part of that list of tools, but it keeps you safe. It keeps you from getting injured while you're learning how to pitch a tent with 5 tools. But you're still going to treat your water. Even if you are doing your exercise out there is trying to create a bushcraft water filter, I'm still going to treat that water with a proven method that's commercially available. I may take a sample of that water out of my bushcraft filter and have that sample sent to a lab for testing to see how well my filter worked. But when it comes to me actually drinking and using this water, cooking with it, I'm going to treat it again with something which I know is going to be good. So those are things that you generally just use while you're out there as well. Now the emergency kit, those are special items that you're going to designate for certain emergencies. You know, your first aid kit, your fire tools, your protective devices, bear spray, something like that, that allow you to stay safe. So if you do have that unexpected situation, you're still equipped for that. And those are only useful for whatever that emergency is, if they're in that kit. But you always have a bailout plan and a bailout kit. You should have food, water, communications, and whatever else you need. Communications, because you should have a friend or a spouse or somebody who's at the other end of that communication that you can talk to and say, okay, this got to be too much, this was unexpected, I need you to come pick me up. Someone knows where you're at, they know what you're doing when you're out there in the wilderness, and they can come on out there for you. If your water filter doesn't work, your hunting plan doesn't work, whatever you were testing out, you still have food and water in that bailout kit. Everything you need to get your way out safely if you have to bail out. Now that bailout kit, on the other hand, though, if you do have to use that bailout kit, if you are trying to do some type of training challenge, that I would say I would count that as a failure when you access that. Those are things you do not want to access. You're packing that water, you're packing that food, you're packing that communications gear for the weight otherwise, just to make it harder, so that way when it comes time to do it for real, it's that much easier. Training to lose, operating to win. Now, operational bag items. These are going to be your state-of-the-art stuff. This is going to be your well-maintained, lightweight. It's going to be determined based on your environment, your situation, your training. These determine your needed tools. Do you need a lot of water filtration if you're in an area that doesn't have a lot of natural water? Probably don't need to invest as much in that. You just need to figure out what you're dealing with here. You probably don't need to worry as much about, snow camouflage if you're in an area that doesn't get snow. Probably need to work on packing more heat stuff if you are in a colder environment. More stuff to bundle up, all that. So take into account those things, but these are things that should be small and lightweight and multifunction. These are things that you can operate to win with. These would be different from your training tools. Thank you for watching.